conversation. Yes, yes, yes. We are excited that everyone is here. Thank you for joining me. I am Elisa Dubois, the founder of Tight Body Makeover. And this evening, we're going to talk about these bodies. We're going to talk about these bodies and how we are oftentimes challenged, especially during that time when a woman's life changes during menopause. Over 40, your body changes and you're like trying to stop it. But we're going to talk about tonight some tips and some information that's going to help to empower you, some alternative protocols and means that can assist you during that challenging time of your life. But first, I want to introduce my wonderful co-host tonight. Now, you guys are going to be in for a treat because, first of all, I am so excited that she is here. She's not just here with me on the broadcast, but she is here in town. She is from the beautiful island of Trinidad, and I am so excited that we got a chance to meet last year because she is a beautiful soul, and that's why I chose her to be on with us tonight. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about her before I allow her to come on and actually wow you guys, okay? Because I need for you to know who you're in the presence of this evening in the Coffee and Conversation chat, okay? Now, Lenore Bartholomew is the founder and CEO of Du Soleil Legacy Consultants and Du Soleil Legacy Women, okay? It's a chartered banker. She's a chartered banker with 28 years of experience in retail and business banking. She holds an MBA and a Bachelor of Science, okay, specializing in business finance and risk management. She loves to travel and experiences different environments, often curling up with a book and singing, which brings her joy. Her favorite genres are classic and gospel music. Yes, yes. Okay. And so other rewarding moments are spent volunteering with Career Confidence, a Christ-centered organization engaged in helping professionals become more marketable job applicants. Her heart for empowering women finds expression in another volunteer role as one of the group leaders for Heroines Not Victims, a support group for women dealing with domestic abuse. She rounds that off with an avid interest in health and wellness and is a proud ambassador of Artist Life Nutritional and Reshaping Company. So, with that in mind, fresh from the beautiful island of Trinidad, here in town to bless us, spend time with friends and family, and also drop some nuggets this evening on this wonderful broadcast. Please welcome everyone with some high fives and some high hands for Lenore Bartholomew. Welcome, sis.
Hi, Elisa. It is so good to be here.
I'm glad you're here.
I
Yes,
wait.
yes.
Listen, this conversation.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be a wonderful time because I want to say that I feel blessed because we are both women that are in a different chapter, if you will. You know, a lot of people like to say, oh, over 40, they start, talking these gloom and doom things. I'm like, oh, no, hunty, life begins.
No, honey.
Exactly. And so that's what I want to talk about tonight, because one of the things I was so excited about when I met you, because we've met virtually, but we hadn't met in person until last year. And when I met you and you told me how young you were, I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna have to ask her to see her driver's license, because I'm like,
you did
how old and have how many kids? And wait a minute, that's not matching up. You see, that's how some people think. They think that once you're a certain age, you have to succumb to the aging process. Well, the thing is, when you start early and you know what to do, sometimes you can overcome that. And with that in mind, as we become seasoned, I don't like to say older, but seasoned, and we start to extend our lives past 40 years of age, we go through challenges. People talk about hot flashes, night sweats, gaining weight, which we're going to talk about tonight, mood changes, depression. These are things that oftentimes comes with menopause. And so we're going to kind of touch on menopause tonight. And we're going to also talk about some great ways to lose weight, because when you're able to lose weight and change your physical appearance, that does so many things for a woman. It helps to boost her confidence. And once you do that, I mean, you're pretty much fearless from that point, because confidence is a lot. It's a lot. So the first thing I want to do is have you share with us some of the, I don't want to say highlights, but I want to say best challenges that you may have had during menopause. And if you yourself haven't had those symptoms, tell us about a friend, a family member, or someone who has shared their challenges with you, because most women suffer in silence with all of the symptoms
Hmm.
of menopause. And so there's a rare time when that girlfriend will actually share and say, listen, I'm having a time. What have you tried? What have you done? What's working for you? So if you could share some of your personal challenges, or maybe the challenges of someone you know concerning menopause, weight gain, all that good stuff.
Absolutely, Elisa. Listen to me. I was fighting this menopause battle for quite a while. And when I say fighting, fighting actually acknowledging that
Mm-hmm.
it was menopause. Because I've always had a low tolerance for heat. So then what everybody talks about in terms of hot flashes, I never liked heat. So there was no difference for me. So I'd be like, okay. And I went to my doctor, did my hormonal tests and everything. And he said, no, you're fine. I said, okay, cool. I'm not in menopause. And, we're going through life and now I'm getting so much more information out here on the internet that's telling me, oh, yeah, this is a marker and this is a marker. And as you said, depression. Boy, is there a
Yes,
fight
yes.
against depression. And we tend to think, okay, I'm down because I'm putting on weight and I don't feel myself and whatever else. But you know what? It's sort of like a catch-22 situation. So for me, I found that I had these bouts of depression and then life did not help the situation. Elisa, when I tell
Mm-hmm.
you that I have been bothered by different things, different, negativities in my life, that depression seemed to be the order of the day. So you are going through life, you are experiencing these things, and you have all these external factors that are coming against you. And you're not sure why you're not able to cope. You're not sure what your mental state is. You are not sure what your physical state is because you're thinking this is stress. But there's also in the background your hormonal changes happening. And here comes menopause, perimenopause, even from 30. We are talking about women over 40, but it starts way back 30. And you're starting to see these changes happening. Your cycle changes when you hit 30. And then 35, something else different, happens. And you're wondering, well, what is going on? Am I losing it? And it's perimenopause hitting you and all these things. And then our parents, our age group, didn't tell us, our mothers didn't tell us anything about this because they didn't have that information, right?
Mm-hmm.
So going through life, walking through thinking, okay, I have this under control. I don't have hot flashes. I don't have night sweats. I don't have any issues sleeping. As a matter of fact, I sleep like a baby. But my mind, I cannot control my mind. I'm forgetting the things that I want to do on a daily basis. I cannot walk into a room and remember what I walked into the room for. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm just tired. I'm just sleepy. I'm just overstressed.
Yes.
I am overworked. And all the excuses. It is menopausal symptoms. What I did though, once I started to have these issues come up and I started to do research, then I realized I'm in a situation where, yeah, this is menopause, honey. You're at that age. These symptoms match. What's next? So my what's next led me to the internet, and I found out so much more information. And then I was able to get myself under control. But Elisa, control, and I don't want to keep going on, but control doesn't mean that I don't have the symptoms. Control doesn't mean that I'm not battling with the mental issues, but I'm finding things that help me. And so that is why
Right.
we're here tonight, right? I'm finding things that help me. And one of those things is nutrition, proper nutrition. And proper
Yes.
nutrition is is absolutely the key. And then the right type of exercise and then the right environments for me, so I don't have to expose myself to the people and the things that cause me to have issues or cause symptoms to, really amp up and put me in a position where I'm not myself, So I don't know if that answered your question. I know I've been going on for a bit, but that has been my experience, just this total confusion. And then now we're having that conversation.
Yes, no, you're absolutely great. That's the thing, like you said, sometimes we kind of put ourselves in denial, but you got
Mm,
to the point where you said, "What's next?" And when you said what's next, you said it in a way that you're like, "Okay, I'm looking for resources. I'm looking for solutions. I'm looking for a different way." Most people, women, of course, because that's what we're talking about tonight. Most women, when they say in their mind, they won't say it out loud, what's next? They start thinking, okay, this was the forgetfulness. Now I'm expecting the night, sweats to start. And a lot of times we are looking forward to these detrimental things that we start bringing them forth, as opposed to, okay, I've got a few symptoms. Let me get empowered and educated on what I can do to keep them at bay or minimize their impact. Now it's
mm,
like, oh man, I've got the loss of memory. Now, and now all of a sudden you're hot for no reason, even though you're not sweating or nothing, but you're mentally just bringing, or you're sitting there waiting for them to show up. And
show
so
up.
we
Yeah.
have to change that. Yes, we have to change that because we are women. We are the people who bring forth life in this world. If we can do that, we can manage these symptoms and get through it so that once we're on the other side, we feel empowered as opposed to exhausted. Because I have some girlfriends who've gone through that. I have some girlfriends who suffered, especially with the night sweat thing. It's like I have a
Mm,
friend that we were actually traveling and she went through a point where we were dining at a restaurant and she had to start disrobing. And luckily she had on a t-shirt that, still allowed her to look complimentary, but she had on 2 or 3 layers and she was visibly, sweat was dripping from her body. And so I introduced her to one of
oh,
the products that I knew was going to help her, because you take pills, you go and you get certain hormone therapies, but no one wants to be on a therapy like that for long term. So I was telling her about this
right.
natural resource that I had that could really, really help her. And I said, but you got to take it, you got to be consistent. And that resource was a juice called Red Levide. And I mean, once they started really taking it on a consistent basis, she saw changes that were positive. Those episodes diminished, you know. And so she started saying, okay, I need to really be consistent with this, because when you're traveling and all of a sudden you have to start disrobing because you're actually that hot, I was like, if she takes off one more layer, we're going to have to transport her to the ladies' room, because this is not that kind of show and you guys aren't paying for it. So, but sometimes
Yeah,
menopausal symptoms take us by storm, like that, just out of the blue. And with that in mind, sometimes the fact that we are overweight because our hormones do so many different things, that the little fupa that we have from bearing children goes from a little fupa to a big diva, and all of a sudden we're like, where did this tissue issue come from?
come
And
from.
where did this love handle come from? It's gotten bigger. And so that's why I picked the weight loss topic for us to talk about tonight, because even though women are challenged with several of those symptoms that we talked about, weight gain is the one that we all can talk about and actually see from our perspective. Like, I can see when a woman gains weight. I can see when she starts to get a little extra belly tissue issues. I can tell when her mood starts to change and she's a little cranky because she's gained weight and she knows it and she's not happy about it. So I want to talk about some things tonight that can help with that, because we know that we can go to our doctors and we can get consultations and we can get therapies, hormone therapies and things like that. We're not knocking that. because we are
No.
simply having a conversation here tonight. We're not doctors, and we're in no way trying to diagnose or influence
Oh,
you on how
definitely.
to take care of your health. But we know that we've been able to experience some things with what we're going to talk about tonight that have helped us to overcome some of the challenges, diminish the symptoms, and be able to lose the weight, because the weight is what we see. And that's the component that most women get very depressed by, because they're like, oh, I'm
Absolutely.
47, 30 pounds overweight. I've been 30 pounds overweight for like 10 or more years. And all of a sudden in menopause, we depress ourselves even more, because now it was okay because you were bearing children. You were just living your life. You know, you were working, taking care of a family. But now that the kids are gone, they're out of the house, it's just you and your partner or your husband. Now, and then especially if you're retired or nearing retirement, there's nothing to do but sit around and go, hmm, okay, how am I going to get rid of
So
this weight?
on that note, Elisa,
Yes.
let's just go back. I want to acknowledge I'm seeing St. Martin is in the house. We thank you for joining us, right?
Yes.
And
Hello.
we
And
also
Seneca
have
Hill.
Seneca
Yes.
Hill. Hi, thanks for joining us. Listen, let's go back to sitting in a crowded room. Lisa, I
Yes.
swear to you, I felt like I'm sitting there and I'm not in, I'm maybe in a t-shirt like this, and it's an air-conditioned environment.
Okay.
And I'm feeling like I'm in a shower and I'm going, what the hell is this? What is going on? And you're well made up, right? So the foundation is on, the lips are glossing, and you're all dandied up,
Looking
and you're feeling
fabulous.
like,
Yes.
right, fabulous and fresh. No, not fresh anymore. But I'm like, ooh, okay. But you're trying to compose yourself because you know us ladies. And I'm like,
Yes.
this is going to be happening to me. And I remember years and years ago listening to different, talk show hosts speaking on menopause when it was just that topic that no one wanted to discuss. But there were people who were speaking about it, and they talked about, okay, drinking red wine is not a good idea. And, eating
Mhm.
certain foods is not a good idea. So yours truly decided to stay away from these things. No, it wasn't helping. It was not helping.
Wow.
And it helps some, but it wasn't helping me. So I had to figure out my body. And you
Yes.
mentioned the Lviv bread. So that is part of my daily diet. Clearly, it works. It gives me energy. It helps me to stay focused along with other things that I use. So I use the Lviv red, I use the green because it helps detox me. So it's Lviv green, Lviv red, and Lviv yellow. That's my triple combo right there every day. And then I add different things to that. But exercising, you talked about that faux pas that turns into a faux pas. That, I don't know. It's like magic.
Right.
Mushroom tissue shows up overnight. And the only way you look good is when you're lying on your back. I'm telling you, I want to get rid of that. I'm fighting it. But one of the tips that I can give you, other than your diet, and don't, a lot of people talk about, I'm not eating carbs and I'm not eating this. No, eat your carbs, good carbs, eat a balanced diet, add your supplements. And so we're talking about Lviv red, Lviv yellow, Lviv green. Those are supplements. And I encourage women to do weights. Weightlifting actually helps to burn that fat off of your body and to keep you toned and help with that faux pas and not the faux pas, right? Listen, if you do not get
Right.
right combination for your body, if you do not get to know who you are and what your body responds to, and we are all very different in our responses, then you are going to be listening to everyone else and everything else. And, you don't want, there we go. So that's Lviv red. And you would not want to, you would be so frustrated, let's put it that way, trying to battle, you know,
Yes.
all the symptoms, the weight gain, the hot flashes, night sweats, the brain fog. A lot of people go the way of, how should I say this? Going after all the fads and forget that we have to go back to the basics. And it's nutrition, 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 and activities. So we're saying hi to Cedar Hill, Texas. Texas in the house. We have Body Divine. Body Divine, I think we need to have you here because if your body is so divine, you need to share your tips with us as well. Right.
Awesome,
And thanks
awesome.
for
Welcome,
joining us.
everyone.
Right. But nutrition, 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 activity, stay active. That's my thing. I stay active. With brain fog, nutrition again helps. And we're not going to go through a whole list of stuff, but I'm going to tell you that a detox is important because what I'm putting into my body is not the food from long time. It's not the food from old that is grown in healthy soil and all these things. There's so many chemicals in our foods right now that are affecting our hormones. So we need to detox. That is my first step. So the Lviv green, I don't know if you have a picture of it there. That works for me on a daily basis. And every 6 months or so, for the first time, and then maybe every year, I do the Ultra Cleanse Detox, which is another product that I use, all the time. It's always with me. And you mentioned that I travel a lot. Every port, I have my products. Right. So really, I want to impress upon those who are
Okay,
listening.
awesome.
Yeah. Nutrition, nutrition, nutrition.
And I'm glad you mentioned traveling, Lenore, because Lviv Green is definitely something you want to take with you when you travel. Because I don't know about you, but I know when I travel, we tend to eat things that we don't normally eat because sometimes they're not available. Sometimes we're just so busy in trying to get to our destination. We go and we buy quick fast foods to be able to just, satisfy our hunger. And Lviv Green is a gentle detox that you can take actually on a daily basis. And it's not just going to detox you, but it's going to also assist with that extended food plot and that belly fat issue, because that's something that often depresses us when we're in that part of our life called menopause. And so having something that can help curb your appetite, that can also detox you and help to cleanse your body, this is going to be key, because oftentimes those digestive changes that we go through, we have a learning curve that we have to go through with our bodies, and Lviv Green can help that be more and more gentle.
Yes.
So yes, thank you for sharing that.
Yes,
Awesome, awesome. So
exactly.
let's go ahead
Exactly.
here. Yeah, let's go ahead and I just wanted to share some information, um, a little personal information about my testimony, because we talk about weight loss, and for women over 40, sometimes it can be challenging because of our hormones. We can't just dial in and say, nope, don't turn that one on, don't turn that one off. We're going to keep them all on. We can't do that. Sometimes that would be great if we could, but sometimes our hormones just change and we have nothing we can say about it. And so we have to learn ways to manage that better. And with the weight loss, I wanted to share my testimony. So when I was 43 years young, I decided that I was tired of being fat. I'm not going to say overweight. Overweight is the politically correct term that I know we use now. But because I had been overweight most of my adult life, I had come to the point where I'm fat. I can't keep saying Rubenesque, PHAT, all these things that we say these things to
All a
comfort us.
spade, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. We say these things to help comfort ourselves and make us feel better about this challenge we're not willing to address as of yet. So at age 43, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I said, you know what? There's got to be something that works, because since I had been on a diet most of my adult life, I would gain and lose, gain and lose, gain and lose. And when you get close to or in menopause, that really works to your detriment. So I said, I got to lose this weight and find a way to keep it off. And I heard about some of the products that I've been taking for the past couple years. Now, believe it or not, I was not a coffee drinker until I started losing weight. When I utilized this two-step system that I'll share later, once I utilized that system, I was able to lose 70 pounds in less than a year. Now, I did this because I had a personal goal, but I also knew if I didn't get it done by the time I was like at least 45 or 48, I didn't know if those
Right.
pounds were going to stick around. So once I lost the weight loss journey is not the hardest. The hardest is the maintenance journey, especially after 40. And so I have so many friends that, struggled with that too. They'd lose the weight, gain it back, or it just wouldn't move. And so finally, I found some alternatives, and I want to talk about one tonight. Did you guys know? Oh my gosh, Lenore, we got to tell them. Did you guys know that there is weight loss coffee? Weight loss coffee. And let me tell you, weight loss coffee. I
That
did
tastes
not.
like coffee.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I'm going to pull this up on the screen so you guys can see some of the benefits. But this coffee, and I was not a coffee drinker until I started this process of really looking for alternatives to deal with the hormones, get rid of the belly fat, et cetera, et cetera. Well, because the coffee tastes so good, because it's a powdered coffee, it comes in an instant powdered form, and it has different mushrooms, different medicinal and powerful mushrooms that can help with your appetite, suppress that
Yeah.
appetite. And the mushroom has been used for thousands of years in other countries to be able to deal with certain issues, weight being one of them. And so the Ganoderma mushroom really helps to curb the appetite. It helps with belly fat. And I'm going to pull up on the screen here a picture to show you guys. But once I got it so good that I started consuming the limit, which is 3 cups per day. Now, remember, I was not a coffee drinker prior to this, but I started drinking it because it was so good.
Elisa, there's a
Yes, I see we
limit.
have a comment.
Yeah, but there's a limit, Elisa. Because I drink more
It
than
looks like,
three. Are you there?
okay, I think the
We're
internet's back now. Now I can
yeah,
hear
we're
you.
doing some buffering stuff here. So Seneca Hill says, I can attest to the Lviv Slim curbing cravings. Mm-hmm. Midnight Munchie Monsters remind me to tell you about
Ah,
those. And I add one to my water bottle and it just tastes like flavored water. I was surprised at how well it curbs those cravings. So while we're done with the coffee story, I'll tell you about the Midnight Munchie Monsters.
midnight munchy monsters. Yes, yes, yes. Because I'm telling
But
you, this coffee has performed miracles. So let me pull up this photo so you guys can see what it looks like. And definitely to get an experience and actually taste it, oh my goodness, it's delicious because it's an instant coffee. All you have to do is add water. You don't have to, go through, you don't even have to put creamer in it. It comes with its own creamer already added, and it tastes wonderful. So let's see here. So this is the weight loss coffee, a wonderful DeLeon weight loss coffee from the Artist Life products. And this is, first of all, it's delicious. It tastes like a cappuccino. So for those of you who are already going to
it
those
does.
big branded stores and getting your frappuccinos, your cappuccinos, your mocha lattes, and all that stuff, I'm telling you, the weight loss coffee you can make into all of those particular coffees if you like. It's a very light tasting coffee. It's already got the stevia to help it be a little sweet. It's got the creamer, everything already in it. All you do is add water and enjoy. And let me tell you, this really helped me during the maintenance phase, especially those early years of being able to deal with the stomach and the belly fat. And so it helps to curb the appetite so well that oftentimes it'd be 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't eaten today, because it would take away my appetite just that well. And so when that started happening, I started doing things like putting the coffee in my smoothies and making my own little like frozen cappuccino, mochaccino kind of coffees. And it really, really helped me. And see, I'm not a pill person. I've never been a person that just, oh, what's going on? Let me take a pill. I've looked for natural and things that are comfortable, because I
Absolutely.
can drink a cup of coffee, every day or a couple times a day. And so this is really beneficial for people that are struggling with the food paw and trying to get rid of that stomach. So if there's anybody else that is with us tonight that wants to share a testimony about the coffee, the weight loss coffee, please do so, because this is my new best friend. She has been my new best friend for a couple years now. Now, Lenore, you've had this one, right? The weight loss coffee?
Had it. I was just asking you if there was actually really a 3 cup limit, because I kind of maybe went over that several times.
Yes, the instructions say enjoy up to 3 times a day, but you and I both have known that sometimes it's so good, because I actually make coffee popsicles. And this time of year, when it's warm weather, I enjoy the coffee popsicle. So I may have 2 popsicles in a day. I may have 2 cups of coffee, and then I may want a frozen treat. I'll make like a frozen mochaccino, like for dessert in the evening. So yeah, I've often busted through that 3 cup limit myself. Yes, but it's so
Exactly.
good. It's so good, and you can leverage it in so many ways. Regular coffee. I've never made popsicles with regular coffee. I've never put regular coffee in my smoothie, and it actually helps to up the ante for the nutrients and the benefits that your smoothie can provide when you put it in there. So that's an awesome thing.
Always. So listen, for me, I've always been a coffee drinker. I love coffee. I grew up on coffee. People drink coffee to stay up. I drink coffee and go to bed. So coffee does not have that effect on me. So
Wow,
coffee is,
really?
yeah, and a lot of people, there's a term for it and all that, because I was like, I'm weird. I'm not. I'm not the only one in the world who does that. But coffee, I will drink coffee just because it's coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And most times, but I'm not a brand name coffee drinker. Give me a strong black, unsweetened cup of coffee, and I am good to go.
Okay.
So when I saw this and weight loss and all that, and I said, okay, you know what, I can add that, and it would help. But there was the creamer in it, and I was like, not too sure about that, because I'm a black coffee girl and da da da. This thing tastes so good. I according to you, I blew through the 3 cups, and then I
Mm-hmm.
introduced another friend to it recently. She's gone. She's gone. It's done. It's over. She
Mm-hmm.
goes through 2 containers of that coffee in 1 month. Okay, it's like, yeah,
Wow.
because it's good stuff.
Okay.
It is good stuff, right? So, but I want to talk about the midnight munchie monsters.
Yes, please share the Midnight Munchie Monster story. I got to hear this. This is going to be good, I
So,
know.
how many of us out here know that when you're stressed, you cannot sleep?
Mm-hmm.
So, part of the menopause journey, part of the over 40s club is a lack of sleep. So I would wake up 12 o'clock with everything on my mind. And the first thing I want to do is eat. And I'm generally a stress eater. Once I'm stressed, I start eating. That worked at
Yes.
20, at 30, maybe up to 40. But at that point, everything I ate started showing up the next morning. So I cannot
Uh-huh.
get up in the middle of the night. I cannot
Uh-huh.
get up in the middle of the night again and eat, a whole bar. And I'm talking about huge bars of chocolate, or, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and a big cup of whatever soda and that sort of thing. I could not do that anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
but the cravings are still there. So I fooled myself into thinking that peanuts would help and popcorn would help, but they're carbs, right? So they go somewhere. They break down into sugars and it's
Yeah.
stored somewhere. And the somewhere wasn't looking too good when I put my clothes on.
Aha.
I found the Lviv Slim and they saved my midnight munchie monster because I would get up stressed every night. So I run my own show. I do my own business. This is even while I was working a 9 to 5 in corporate, I would be stressed because I'm that person. And I would get up in the middle of the night and I'd be like, okay, I have this to do and that to do and whatever. And then I just find myself walking towards the refrigerator. I would call it sleepwalking, but I'm wide awake. Who am I fooling, right? But when I
Yes.
found out about the Lviv Slim, and really, as someone was saying earlier, Seneca Hill was saying earlier, it's just, a little packet, a little sachet, pour it into your water and you drink that. So I would make it really sweet, which means I'm adding very little water. When they say to add 8 ounces, I'm adding 4 because I have a sweet
Mm-hmm.
tooth as well.
Right.
And I would drink this just before I go to bed. And I would sleep through because other than curbing my appetite, it literally kind of kept me level, which was a surprising benefit. But honestly, that midnight munchie monster, because once you eat after a certain hour, for anyone at any age, you know those calories are just gonna stay there. Your body shut goes into that low drive mode. I'm not saying it technically correct, but we all know what I mean. And so, you're not burning as much calories when you're sleeping.
Right.
And but I'm waking up and adding more calories to what I already consumed during the day that I did not burn off sufficiently. So all of that is just storing as fat. And boy, was I getting, like, I would get up in the morning and I would also be bloated because it depends on what I'm eating. So it's not just fat cells, but it's retention, water retention, fluid retention. And you'd wake up and you're bloated because you ate something too salty or the sweets and your blood sugar is spiking and you're a mess. And this is what women go through. I mean, men have their issues, but we're talking about women over 40. And we have to recognize that foods affect our bodies differently. So all the habits that we have that we really just, it's so difficult for us to break them on our own. We need support. And for me, Lviv Slim was that support for the midnight munchie monsters. So I put the monsters to sleep. And once those
Okay.
monsters were sleeping, I was able to maintain and control my weight, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm so glad you shared that about the
So I'm
Lviv
an
Slim,
advocate.
Lenore. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I think the internet went out again. But I'm so glad you shared about the Lviv Slim because the
Yeah.
great thing about the Lviv Slim, like you said, a lot of us get those Midnight Munchie Monster episodes, and that contributes to the little food pod and the belly fat. And with the Lviv Slim, one of the great things is because it comes in those packets, you have those individual packets that you can take at any time. Now, the instructions say that you should take it up to 3 times a day, but I know some people that take 2 packs and they put it with water and enjoy it throughout the day because number one, it tastes great. It's like a strawberry drink that tastes really well and it gives you energy. As you can see some of the
Yes.
benefits here on screen, it helps with weight loss. It helps reduce the formation of fatty acids, gives you energy, mental alertness, all that good stuff. And if you need help in the sexual desire and performance arena, it helps with that too. Okay. And again,
Okay.
that's another challenge. That's another challenge too, sometimes when
Yeah.
you're going through that. So it's good to know there's something to help. But because this is kind of portable when you're traveling, when you are at work, and get the munchies because you're in a meeting that might be long and you don't know when lunch is going to take place, this is a great thing to be able to have with you at that time too. So yes, Lviv Slim can be your new best friend. So thank you for introducing that. And I want to share something in terms of the second part of the two-step system that I mentioned, because we know that this is just one part of helping with the transformation of the body, the way we feel, the confidence, helping with cope with some of the hormonal changes and imbalances and things like that. But part two of this system has to do with wearing a piece of clothing that actually changes your appearance. Now, I have to admit, Lenore, when I first heard about a garment that was going to help me look 2 to 3 sizes smaller, the first thing I thought, oh, this is not going to work. Oh, this can't be real. You know, but when I went and I witnessed it and had my own experience and tried it on, I mean, I was actually floored at the results. And so I want to share what this particular piece of clothing is, because I still don't believe it, but I want to I want to share it with you because you won't believe how simple this can be by taking this approach and being able to wear this piece of clothing that can be life changing. And so let me pull it up on the screen here. Okay,
Why do you
let's.
do that? When I tell you, I've been transformed from, I don't know how to put this. I'm one of those people who said I would never wear all those things. If my muscles can't control it, then, why am I wearing it?
Right.
Um, I've been converted. So how many of us out here know that? And if that is if you've had children naturally or natural childbirth or whether C-section or whatever, your body changes. So we've been talking about menopause, but let's talk about women's health in general. When you have kids, your body changes. And when your body changes, you're trying and failing sometimes. Some of us are successful. Kudos to you. I tried. I thought I was successful. And then everything else took over. Life started lifing. But
Mm-hmm.
your body changes. Everything is not as tight as it was. Everything doesn't stay in the same place it started. Its place of origin has now changed, it shifted, it changed the dress. And
It
you're
changed
struggling.
dress. Mm-hmm.
Yes. You're struggling to fit into that dress. You may not have gained weight, but the proportions have shifted a bit. And it really does mess with your confidence as a woman. Because many of us have been brought up, I mean, most of us have been brought up as women to put so much emphasis on what we look like externally. And we've
Yes.
actually assimilated this mentally so that when our bodies change, it changes our perspective as to who we are. We don't feel as attractive anymore. We don't feel as confident anymore. And it really messes with you. So we spoke about depression earlier on. This is one of the things that actually sends us into depression. So unless you have the mindset that says, I am enough just as I am, my body does not define who I am, then you're literally following the trend of your body, and your mind says, I'm not the same person, I don't have the same value, I'm not as attractive, so I need to do something about it. Or sometimes, unfortunately, we say, I know what, I'm not even bothering. And whatever happens, and I'm old and I'm aging, and we go into this mode of acceptance. We do not have to do that anymore. So you were talking about, working. We've been talking rather about, things that we can put into our bodies, the nutrition, the supplements. We've been talking about exercising and doing more weight training, less cardio. Now we're talking about actually giving you that almost instant gratification. And when I look in the mirror, I feel more confident so that I can actually get that mindset to do more. And so your journey has been amazing. I really, really want you to share that, because we had it on the poster, that before and after. I really want you to share that, Elisa.
Okay, yes, yes, yes. So first I'm going to show what we're talking about. We're going to talk about this piece of clothing, and I'm going to show you how I used it myself throughout my journey, because this is just so amazing. And I want women who are struggling with this weight challenge to know about it, because once you're over 40 and your hormones start to change, it's like we have to do things different. When you're over 40, it's not about doing what you did in your 20s. And it's not always about trying to go through surgery and, more serious protocols. I mean, if you want to, that's fine. But sometimes it's about strategy. And I think as we become more seasoned, we need a different strategy for being able to go over this challenge. So let me go ahead and share here. So I want to share this piece of clothing that we're talking about first, because you guys will not believe when you look at it, you're like, wait a minute, it does what? And so, you know, um, this is a garment called the Body Magic. It is a firm compression garment. Now, what does that mean? We all know when we go in the store to buy our garments, our shapewear, etc. We usually go and we buy what fits, what's comfortable, what looks good. Sometimes we may bring the outfit with us that we want to use. Well, this is a medical grade garment. This garment is made of a material that works with your body heat to assist in losing inches in weight. Now, again, we're not here to diagnose or treat or, you know, give any information on a medical level. But again, I'm sharing what happened to me. Okay. And this
Yeah, okay.
was absolutely amazing, because when I put it on, first of all, it took my waistline and gave me a waistline, because I was overweight. And I'm going to show you pictures here in a second. But this garment actually chiseled and gave me a waistline again. It helped to pull in my stomach so I could see past it and actually see my toes. I hadn't seen my feet in a long time because I had a stomach at the time that was that big. So for me, a woman that had struggled with weight most of my adult life, and when I put this particular garment on, I'm telling you, that confidence that Lenore and I talked about earlier, it brought that confidence back. I felt excited. I didn't feel ashamed. Previously I had felt ashamed. And
Mm.
again, because of the depression and some of the mental challenges we go through when we have that extra weight, that happens. So, I had to
Yes.
go through the mental mindset of, wait a minute, this can do what? It takes away, huh? What? And so I actually, because I had the experience and I felt so good when I had it on, I said, okay, what do I need to do? What are the instructions? How do I use this to lose weight? Well, they told me the instructions and I followed them to a T. And I got so excited and I did so well with the protocol. Let me show you guys the results. Okay. So
Yes.
again,
Yes.
this helped me to lose 70 pounds in less than a year, 11 months. Okay. Now, all right, get this picture. Here we go. Now, when I first started wearing this garment, this was my result. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Okay. So after wearing this new piece of clothing that I wore every day, and I followed the protocol. The protocol was to wear it 4 to 6 days a week, 6 to 10 hours a day. Okay. And I utilized the coffee, the nutrition that we talked about earlier. Now, my goal was to
Mhm.
lose 50 pounds because, as you can see in that left picture, I had a belly. Let me tell you guys, I was at the point where I was a size 20. I wore 240 pounds, and pretty much every piece of pants I had was drawstring. Now, those of you who have been overweight and had a belly, you know what I'm about to talk about, because drawstring pants are some of the most comfortable, but they also allow you to continue to eat and eat because you don't know when you gained weight, because the drawstring, you just let
Mm.
out the drawstring a little bit more. And so That kept me in overweight prison, okay, having those drawstring pants. But as you can see, I had a belly. I've always been hippie, but those hips were much bigger. And my life was at a certain point where I never got in front of the camera. I always was the person taking the pictures. But once I went through the first 5 weeks of wearing that garment and taking the nutrition, the picture is on the right, is what happened. I was able to release, 30 pounds in 5 weeks with that protocol. And it scared me so much. I went to my doctor. I was like, look, this is what happened. Am I okay? What's going on? He's like, no, you're fine. Whatever you're doing, keep it up because I've been telling you to lose weight anyway. Man, once he said that, it was on. And I went on, continued the protocol, and I overcompensated, I guess, if you will. My goal was to lose 50 pounds by the end of the year. I lost 70. Okay. So I had an extra 20 pounds. And as you can see, the stomach went away. Okay. Now, the thing is, some of us, we exercise and we do the same exercises we did when we are in our 40s than we did, back when we were in our 20s. And as you said earlier, Lenora, we can't do that. We have to do different things because our joints are different. They respond differently. And we have to do some things differently. And this is one of the different things that I want to share with everyone. Again, this is a strategy that I use that helped me, and it can help you as well, because I know Lenore has had experiences with our garments. And
Yes.
or if you could just share like what your first time was even like when you put on a garment, because this can do something for every woman, even if you don't need a big transformation like I did with 70 pounds, just to restore your confidence, to help your posture, to help you get rid of that, fupa, and have an alternative while you're trying to figure out what exercises you should do and things of that nature. So share that with us, Lenore. What was your first experience like with these garments?
So my experience with the body magic, which is what it's called, is one where I was in excruciating pain. So I've had
Mm.
sciatica, sciatica, depending on which side of the fence you're on, for many years. After I had my first child, and it would come and go. And of course, when I put on any amount of weight or put any stress on my body, and sometimes that could just be cleaning the house, right? So
Okay.
I would be in so much pain, and I would live with this pain, and I expected the pain to continue because doctors told me it would. And even though I started doing massage therapy, which really did help a lot, so that's one of the things that we can do as women, treat ourselves, treat our bodies with care, I still needed that support. And like I said earlier, I figured if the muscles couldn't hold everything together, I was not one of those girlies who was about body shape, wear, and that sort of thing. And really, I never had too much excess weight. I'm not my
Okay.
ideal weight based on everything that people talk about, out there in La La Land, which is what I call it, but I really wasn't heavy set. But I needed support on my back. And my godmother at the time suggested to me, well, why don't you try the body magic? I'm like, yeah, put that on. That's for old people, right? I was so, rude with myself. But I was in so much pain one night, I put it on and I went to bed. And I expected to get up in the morning, take it off, and go, yeah, this is not working. When I woke up and I came out of bed and I wasn't even thinking about pain, while I
Mm-hmm.
was sick, thing actually kept my body in such a firm state and erect and corrected position that it took the stress off of the muscles that were in spasm. And overnight, I was feeling like 100% better. So I continued wearing it. And of course, I found that, well, you know what? Everything was fitting better. Literally put on my uniform over it because I was working a 9 to 5 then. And I had space. And I was like, what? Okay, so this is better than I expected because, I mean, once you have that breathing room and things are fitting the way they're supposed to, and I'm a pants girly. So I'm not too, I hate dresses. So I'm wearing this with my pantsuit and my jacket and everything. And I'm like, oh, I feel good. And I'm walking more confidently and I'm sitting upright and my back muscles are not hurting and I'm not getting that radiating pain down my legs. I was sold. I was absolutely sold. If any one of you like out there who, suffered with sciatica or any sort of back injury, you know that pain, and especially when it's a nerve pain, your entire body feels like it's on fire. You're in so much excruciating discomfort that you don't even want to think. I was at a point where I was being walked like a baby. So I'm talking about a really bad situation. And
Right.
this garment, this day, I wear it. And of course, there are other garments that I wear in between, and I wear it to exercise, and I wear it sometimes if I'm really like I'm helping my daughter move right now. So I'm using it in between to keep myself straight, erect, in good posture, so that I don't, have that slouch and I'm behind the keyboard like that. And many of us in corporate world, we're sitting, or even if we're working from home, we're sitting behind the keyboard and we're like this. So we're like hunchbacks from Notre Dame.
Right.
That
Mm-hmm.
keeps you erect. You cannot have a bad posture wearing that garment. So it's beyond just weight loss, it's beyond just looking good. It really does help you to keep your posture and gives you a nice firm compression and keeps everything where it's supposed to be and helps you to build stronger muscle tone. That was an
Yes.
amazing thing for me.
I'm so glad you shared that because we talked about, where that extra tummy comes from in the first place. And, being
Hmm.
in pain like that, especially, from having, if it extends past having children, that's something that a lot of women have struggled with. And so being able to sleep in it, I mean, that is something
Yeah,
that
it's
I found,
comfortable.
people don't think about it, but that's the time when you're most still, you're sleeping, your body can recover and repair. And being able to wear that garment has helped a lot. So for
Absolutely.
those of
Absolutely.
you, you're going to be challenged by wearing it and trying to get that learning curve, hey, sleep in it. That can also be something that can be very beneficial. So yes, Lenore girl, thank you. That's an awesome story. And I'm going to just share a last photo here of me and this transformation because belly fat is a real thing. And just like you talked about those midnight munchie monsters, belly fat has challenged a lot of women, not just through menopause, but beyond. And because they kind of refuse to deal with it, so to speak. But this was the end result from January to November in a year, lost 70 pounds. And guess what, guys? This was 14 years ago. Okay.
Wow.
It is 2024. I have been able to maintain my weight. Went from a size 20 to an 8 in 11 months. And here in 2024, yes, I can still wear a size 8. So
Yes, you can.
this is something that can not just help your belly fat, but it helps energy and confidence and all of that. Would you say, Lenore?
Yes, yes, you can wear a size 8. I've seen it,
Would you say
guys.
I can hear you?
I've seen the
Thank you.
results
Yes,
on.
she can. Yes.
I can testify that my girl wears a size 8 and it's looking good too, not just, any old size 8. Coca-Cola bottle size 8, right?
Thank you, love. Thank you. Thank you. And you know what? It's important that we feel that way as we become more and more seasoned because, some people, we are depressed by the changes that our body goes through. But when you're able to utilize this protocol, man, I am happy to be able to say that at my young age, and again, people are still asking me for my driver's license. And I am, because when you ask women, how old they are. I was told that was disrespectful when I was growing up. And I'm like, why? Any day God gives you above ground, you should be happy to say your
Yeah.
age. But it was a disrespect thing, at least here in the US. I don't know if it's like that
Absolutely.
in Trinidad, Lenore. Is it?
Everywhere, everywhere,
Okay.
everywhere,
Okay.
especially in the Caribbean, women
Hmm.
hide their ages. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, I'm like, what's
We're
the
here.
deal? Now,
We're here.
I
We
have
just
to admit that when I was younger and heavier, I didn't want to say my age because, and I have to admit, and this is one of the things that with belly fat was also a reason that I was seeking out these solutions, like with the two-step system. Okay, I don't have any children, but people often thought that I was expecting because I had a big belly. And when men especially are like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? When are you due?" I'm like, "I'm not due. I'm not pregnant, you know." And so, but when people keep saying that, you're like, "Wait a minute, how big am I? How fat am I? You know, how big is my belly?" Because I mean, I knew it,
Mhm.
but again, I was exercising and I wasn't having best result, and I got frustrated, so I would stop. I would start and stop. And so being able to finally find something that helped me get rid of the belly and regain my confidence, that was wonderful. So now when you ask me how old I am, I say, oh, I'm 57 years young, honey, and getting younger and younger, because I don't feel like, I'm at that level. Because, when I was younger, being in your 50s was like old. And I'm like, no, honey, I'm just beginning, because I have redefined aging in
Right.
my mind. Okay. Because I find if you don't take that effort to be vibrant and young, then you're just going to allow life to happen to you instead of you going out and creating life for yourself. So that's why I'm so excited that you are here to also represent that club that's 40 plus,
That over
fabulous.
50s club. I'm saying it, it's an over 50s club right now.
Come on, tell it, Lenore. Tell it, tell it. Yes, indeed. And so we wanted to share this info with you in our coffee and conversation. I'm enjoying some of this wonderful weight loss coffee tonight. Again, Lenore talked about how she consumes coffee at night. I often do too, because again, it's just that good. And it's a
It
simple
is.
thing and it doesn't cost a lot. I just want to let everybody know you can actually enjoy this coffee. You get 15 servings for under $35. And a lot of us spend more than that going to these coffee houses and buying, all of the specialized coffee that we like. So we've got some special packages that we can put together for you guys, and you'll be able to get a suite of the coffee as well as those garments for under $300. So do go in the chat, or you can go to our Facebook page at Tight Body Makeover, and you can make an appointment. If by chance you received an invitation from Lenore, you'll be able to get in touch with her so that she can share with you some of this great information and some of the protocols we talked about. And Lenore, I
Absolutely.
have one last question for you, but you have a question first, I see.
So, what I want to really harp on or emphasize this evening is that yes, we're talking supplements, but you have to have that mindset that says, I can do better. I can improve my health. I am responsible for the person that I am, right? And many of us are dealing with, like we mentioned at the beginning, depression and all these other issues, and life bombards us.
Yes.
You need to get support, whether it's from your clergy, or whether you just whatever supporting body, whether it's from therapy. Do what you need to do for yourself as a woman. And one of the things that we're talking about are supplements. But in addition to supplements, you have exercise, but mental health is absolutely important. If you do not see
Yes.
yourself right, then all that we have spoken about has no value to you. You must want to make a change. So if this conversation doesn't seem to be hitting right because you're like, what is the point? Please, I want to emphasize mental health is important. Do seek counseling, therapy, speak to your pastors or, somebody who's close to you, because when you're going through hormonal changes, it changes even your mind. And I really don't want to make light of something like that. I really want us to just focus on that. And then onto you is added everything good. And these supplements are those good things as well as exercise, right? So I just really wanted to emphasize that this evening to my girlies out there, because we're worth it, right?
Yes, we are. You're so right. Thank you so much, Lenore. That is some awesome information. And yes, we have to, that's key. That mental health, got to stay on top of it. Well, guys, we are going to wrap up for tonight. I am so glad that you joined us. Lenore, do we have any comments that we need to check out or read before we are about to leave for
We want
tonight?
to just What I want to do is say thank you for all the people who joined us. We've gone through the comments. I know that we have Seneca Hill, like I said, attesting to the Lviv Slim, curbing the midnight munchie monsters, and also giving you a little bit of energy if you need it during the day, but you can sleep even when you have it in the night, because it really calms you. It gets you to that level point. And we have Miss Pro saying hi to us, and she didn't say where she was saying hi from. So I need, if you can put in the chat where you're watching from. I know we have Cedar Hill, Texas in the house. I know we have St. Martin in the house. So if you just put in the comments where you're viewing this from, and we invite you to share and like and share this video, share it with your friends, share it with your family members. And let me just tell you this, why I'm stressing on mental health is because when hormonal changes happen in our bodies as women, it changes our perspective. It really can lead to health issues that can lead to either really, terrible issues and I'm kind of repeating myself, but you can also lead to loss of life. Please take this seriously. This is not just another video to tell you about products. This is about reaching out to our girlies, our sisters who are hitting, that menopause state, perimenopause state, or even if you're way past that and you're still dealing with hormonal issues of some sort or the stresses of life. Trust me when I tell you, you need to take care of yourself, and you need to look at your gut health, what you eat, and how active you are, because it affects your mental health, and you need to take care of yourself. I personally am tired of losing people in my life because we're not taking care of our bodies. Please take care of your bodies. Yeah?
Amen. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, indeed. Let's check on each other. Let's keep our brothers and sisters in
Yep,
check and check on them. Okay.
absolutely.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining us here on Coffee and Conversation. And Lenore Bartholomew, thank you. I am so excited that you're here to share with us tonight. And
It's been my pleasure.
oh, this has been an experience. I have had fun, and I hope you have too.
I did. I did. I did. And I'm glad that we were joined by so many
Good.
people. Thank you for joining us. Yes.
Yes, thank you to all of our guests that were with us. And stay tuned because this is going to be coming back. We're going to be broadcasting on a pretty consistent basis. So look out. We're going to be posting the next date and the next guest that will be with us because we're going to talk about issues that women deal with. And we're going to consistently talk about some protocols that we've discovered have worked for us. And we want to share them with you as well. So thank you guys for joining us
Absolutely.
tonight. Again, Lenore, mwah, 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 thank you so much. And guess what, guys? We will see you soon. Everyone have a super fantabulous evening. Good night and ta-ta for now.